You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here's your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, good Wednesday morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I am Lisa Wysocki in Ashland City, Tennessee, and you're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, May 8th, episode 3427.
Ah, Wednesday, the day we cover Glenn's favorite topic, horse health. And Jamie makes you feel better about yourself with the latest weird news from around the world. Happy Wednesday.
Well, no weird news today. Jamie is off again. She'll be back next week. And but we do have Lisa here. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit about why Lisa might be running out of the room during our show very shortly. But Auditor Clark Barton is joining us to tell us about the excitement of watching his syndicated horse, Seize the Gray, win the Pat Day Mile at Churchill Downs on Derby Day. I know the auditors are all very excited about that. And I want to ask him what it's like. Do they ever get a return on being a minor syndicate player in a racehorse? I want to find out
Interesting.
I want to find out some details about that. And then Dr. Michelle DeBoer is joining us with the findings of a new study on hay nets. And do they work? Are they effective? Do they help the horse's health? We're going to talk about that. There'll be no post-show today, partly because I am still fighting this sinus infection I've had for months. Went to the doctor yesterday, got all the drugs. I mean, all of them at once. So hopefully I start to feel better and can actually go to the American Horse Publications next week. The weather, oh my God, I don't remember a spring. Now, every spring has tornadoes, but I don't remember a spring where it's been weeks every day of tornadoes.
Oh, no, it's just been all across the country. Everybody's gotten hit. Michigan and Oklahoma, and we're next, and it's just been crazy.
Yeah, you live in Tennessee, so Lisa lives above Nashville, and so it's right almost on the Kentucky border, actually.
Yeah, about half hour.
Yeah, so you're between there and Kentucky, and today's your turn, it looks like.
It does. It looks like about 3 o'clock. We're from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. We're just going to get hammered, and I just want everybody to stay safe, and so worried.
I think people after the last couple of weeks are taking tornado warnings very seriously because.
Oh, yeah. And they should. They should.
Are you surprised? I want to mention about one of the things that happened in Bartlesville, Oklahoma 2 days ago. But are you surprised and I know people have died, but the lack of deaths? When you see the destructions and these whole towns wiped out, whole warehouses wiped out. Last night it was a FedEx warehouse, and then it was that Dollar Tree warehouse, and there were people trapped. But there's like one death in the whole thing, and I'm going, what? How does that happen? Yeah, I know.
Unless people, like you said, they're taking it seriously and they're taking precautions, which hopefully is the case, because you look at this and I mean the buildings are just flat, Glenn. I mean there's nothing left.
There was a horse farm in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and they had the big Category 4 2 days ago. And so the person's name was Jimmy Blake, and they have a big horse farm there. They only had 5 horses on the property at a time, but they had this huge indoor arena. And, I mean, it was one of the steel ones, not wood. This was steel.
Right.
And they decided to flee, and I don't know where they went, but they fled the tornado. They didn't have time to get the horses out because that one came up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so when they went back, the metal, and you know how thick the beams and structure is for those how thick a steel. It was just twisted. It just looked like somebody twisted it, like an erector set that somebody twisted. And it was just crazy. All 5 horses were okay. Not a scratch.
It's amazing. That's the crazy thing about tornadoes, and just 100 feet away, everything can be fine. And then there's just complete devastation, just a short distance. It's nuts.
Now, you don't have a shelter. What do you do?
Well, that's the thing. I really don't where I am, and I'm a little worried about that. So I watch the tornadoes. I have left a couple of times trying to,
Where
get
do you
away
go?
from
neighbors or?
No, I just drive around.
Because the car is safe.
I just try, I keep the radio on and they're saying, 10 minutes, you're going to be in Cottontown. And so I go the other way,
Now, you have a little bit of protection because of the hill that's behind you.
We do.
Yeah.
We've got really hills on three sides. We're in a hollow, and our big issue is flooding. And so
because there's a river goes right through your property.
Yes, yeah, and it comes up and it comes across the driveway. So I kind of watch the weather, and then I think, okay, can I get out? Can I actually get out? Because the road in front of our farm sometimes even gets flooded. So, it's just a stressful time.
It's scary. I mean, it's just scary.
Yeah.
So what do you do with the horses? Do you leave them out?
I leave them out, and that's the big debate, isn't it?
It has been, and it's like the Republicans-Democrat debate. I mean, it's the same thing.
It is. Yeah. It is, and people are passionate about bringing them in or leaving them out, and I've heard good and bad of both situations. I've heard stories of trees falling on horses or horses getting struck by lightning if they're out. Or
just debris hitting them.
Or debris hitting them, yes. Yeah. Or, I've heard, like the indoor arena, I've heard the barn collapses and then the horses are stuck. So, it's just 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and you just have to trust what you think is best, I think.
Yeah, and I think then it cocomes down to luck.
It is.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said, if you've got a big tornado headed your way, it just is. There's nothing you can do. Nothing that's going to keep you safe.
Other than having the bomb shelter like like Jamie has,
Yes.
Where it's 2 feet of concrete and, steel reinforced everything.
Yes. Yeah. And we've thought about, it's just, the cost of putting something in here. But I worry, if we have, therapeutic riding lessons going on here and we have a big storm coming in suddenly, where do we go?
Well, and years ago, I don't remember Tennessee being, or the South being this much in the firing line as the last 5 to 8 years. The South has been hammered more than the Oklahomas and Nebraskas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And some, I don't know, weather service said, we have far more tornadoes than Oklahoma does. So it's, it's a real concern for sure. And, and then of course, Glenn, we've got the cicadas.
Oh, I haven't talked to anybody yet that has them. So is it everything it was promised to be?
We've got floods and tornadoes and pestilence and the plague.
It is the end times.
It is. Yeah, I moved to Nashville in 1985, and that was a year of the cicadas. And I thought, oh my goodness, what have I come to? Where, is this how it is all the time? And you'd be walking down the streets, and the cicada bodies, those, their little shell, they'd be like 2 inches thick on the sidewalk. And it's so disgusting. So, so they're massing on the side of the barn wall. And I was
all their little red beady eyes.
Oh, yes. And then a couple of days ago, I was mowing the lower field, and I'm going, what are those little red flowers down there?
Oh, no.
They were everywhere. I was like,
my God.
No, they're so disgusting.
Do the horses bother with them?
No. And they apparently they don't eat plants, so we don't have to worry about the garden, but they are so disgusting looking. And it's just creepy for me.
It's the volume of them.
It's the volume and just like walking on all these dead things. It's just horrible.
We need pictures. I need pictures of the cicadas.
I will send you some. As soon as the tornadoes all pass.
Post it in the auditor room. Start a cicada post. See who has the most.
There we go.
Okay. So
there we go.
You start it with your pictures, and we'll see who has the most cicadas.
Do we win something, Glenn?
Yeah. all the cicada lunch you want. Deep fried.
Yeah. And then here's the other thing. What do you do with them after they're dead?
I mean, technically, you're supposed to let them just dissolve, and they're good for the ground, but they're 2 inches thick.
I know.
We lived in Kentucky when it happened last time. It's the same way. It was just, but are you getting both blooms or whatever they're called?
Yeah, so we have the 13-year and the 17-year.
In your area, you have them both?
Uh-huh.
Well, no wonder. Is it loud as hell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just, you just have to go with it, Glenn. You just go with it.
How do you sleep? Or is it like white noise after a while?
It's kind of white noise.
Yeah.
It's not bad, once you kind of get used to it. So we have a friend who is a sound engineer, and he's actually set up a sound, like a microphone in a tent with a tape player, and he's recording the sounds of it. So, yeah. So it's amazing.
For once, I'm enjoying living in Florida. We have our problems, but right now we don't have cicadas, and thank God tornadoes are staying your way. So,
well, but then the hurricanes will come, and we'll be the ones gloating.
Yeah, that's true. Our season's coming, but you know what? I said it before. I have 2 weeks to prepare for a hurricane.
That's true. That's true.
Tornadoes are much more terrifying.
Yeah, we might have 30 minutes on a tornado.
You got it in the terrifying department. You win.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Well, let's do some daily Whinnies now that we've talked about every natural disaster you can think of.
Exactly.
Well, we haven't talked about earthquakes yet, but, that's coming too.
It's coming.
It's one of the plagues, right?
Yes.
Only one auditor birthday today, but an important one. Avery Morgan. She has been an auditor since we started the auditor page in 2015. So that means 9 years she's been contributing.
Wow.
Thank you, Avery, for that. We really appreciate your support, and happy birthday.
So my Daily Whinnie is a little bit weird, but it goes to our barn cat Gunner. I was loading the truck the other day, and I normally don't leave the truck doors open, but I did. And so I came back to the truck, and there he was. He was so happy, Glenn. I've never seen a happier cat. And right in my driver's seat was a dead bird. And he gifted me his dead bird, and he was so happy, and I tried not to freak out. But now every day he brings me something, and so I guess he loves me, and so he's bringing me gifts every single day. So anytime I go out the office door or out the door of the shed, I mean, I kind of have to watch where I step, but.
Well,
it's the thought that counts.
Yeah,
right?
We've had everybody that has barn cats have had that. I haven't had it on the driver's seat of the car before.
Yeah. It was a freshly.
It's usually at the door of the house. For some reason, they want to leave it on the porch or right at the door.
Yes.
So you see it, and you're proud of them.
Oh well, sort of.
When they get mice, you're proud of them.
Well, yes, that's true. Yeah. That's true. I wish he'd leave the birds alone, but he's bringing me something every day. And
he probably worked hard to catch that bird.
He did. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I just wanted to give him a little recognition for all of his efforts.
Well, Oliver Townend, he won Rolex. He won the Rolex, formerly Rolex, now Land Rover Defender a week or two ago.
Yep.
Well, that put him on track to win the eventing Grand Slam because he had won. He had won Burley last September, so he won Kentucky in April, and then badminton is coming up right now. It's starting, actually. And if he had the same horse in badminton, he would have a chance to win the Grand Slam, which comes with a very large paycheck. I don't know what it is now. I think it used to be $500,000 or something.
Wow.
But he withdrew Ballamore class, and right before the start of badminton. Apparently, he said he said he had an abscess earlier in the season, and consequently missed a couple of runs and gallops, and he felt he wasn't fit enough to do a 5-star.
Well, cool. I mean, kudos to him for doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, give him credit. I mean, that had to be a tough decision, right?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe not. Maybe it was
not.
just,
yeah. And, he probably knew going into Kentucky that this horse had a 4-star in him, but, then to come back, 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later?
That's a lot.
That's a lot for an eventer. They usually don't do that level of competition that close together.
No.
It's like racehorses,
Right.
But he said he is fit and well, and knowing his huge heart, he would give it his all, but he's simply not the best interest to run this week, and his welfare is our top priority. So the last person to win the Grand Slam was Germany's double Olympic individual champion, Michael Young, in 2016. We were actually at Rolex then. And Britain's Pippa Funnell completed her one in 2003.
Wow.
So that not too many have done this. It's a tough thing to do, but he withdrew. There is good news in the news, though.
Yeah.
especially in the area where you live.
Yeah.
Well, the legislation's been trying to get through Congress for the big lick, getting rid of the big lick
Yes.
horses.
Yes.
Well, the Department of Agriculture finally announced a long-awaited ruling that would help end horse soring. And what they have done is the rule eliminates the system of industry inspectors. So they had inspectors, but they only used the inspectors when they had money to use the inspectors.
Right.
To go to shows and inspect and make sure the horses weren't. And it really wasn't an efficient, good system.
No.
So what they're going to do now is they're actually transferring the inspections to veterinarians, to veterinary technicians, to employees at state and local governments to enforce the laws. So there's going to be more than just 2 inspectors in the whole country. They're going to train a whole bunch of people up to be inspectors. And the rule prohibits Tennessee walking horse or racking horses of all action devices that strike the leg of the horse, or tall, high-heeled horseshoes, at any show, exhibition, sale, or auction. An action device is any boot, collar, chain, roller, beads, bangles, or other device which encircles or is placed upon the lower part of the horse's leg. Now, I hope that doesn't include a bell boot. And that in any way can either rotate around the leg or slide up and down the leg as to cause friction. So I think that's how they're trying to get around the actual boots that are good for you.
Right.
And which can strike the hoof, cornet band, or fetlock joint. So hopefully they get this in place, and this bypasses Congress. The USDA was the only one that could really do it to bypass Congress and not have to wait for the law. They just never have. There just wasn't motivation to do it. Now,
I think there was a lot of pushback and probably a lot of payback or payouts.
Yes.
Under the table type thing. That's just my opinion.
That's good news, right?
This is excellent news, and I mean, thousands of horses are going to be impacted. It's going to be so much better for them.
And you're very familiar with that world, obviously.
Well, when I started riding, Glenn, I started riding at a saddlebred barn, and this was longer than most people have been alive. But I didn't know any difference, and I never rode the big lick horses, but they had big lick horses in the barn with the tail sets, and all of that, and I didn't know that was not a thing to do.
You didn't know what you didn't know, right?
You didn't know what you didn't know, and but obviously it's not in the best interest of the horse, and this is really excellent news, and I hope that they train thousands of inspectors, and that they're trained well, and that they actually do their jobs. So. This is life changing and industry changing, obviously for the better.
Very good. Well, let's head over to our first guest. He's one of our auditors, Clark Barton. He owns a piece of a racehorse, part of a syndicate, and we're going to ask him all about how that works, but also want to congratulate him because Seize the Gray did very well on Derby Day. Clark, thanks for joining us today, and congratulations. Seize the Gray wins the Pat Day Mile. You must have been ecstatic.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was listening to it in the break room of my side hustle, along with the assistant manager, and we were screaming at the phone coming down the stretch. Got customers in the showroom asking, what's going on? We want to be a part of that party.
Was it a close race?
It was. At the top of the stretch, we were getting blocked in, and my worry was, hey, we're not going to be able to do it. And all of a sudden, it opened up, and he won by a length and 3/4, what they said.
Wow. So when and how did you become part of Seize the Gray's family?
Well, I started with finding out about my racehorse, after Authentic won the 2020 Derby. And so I thought, man, instead of betting on them, why don't I just own horses? And started then. And then a couple years ago, they made this offering. It was a colt out of Arrogate, and then with a Hall of Fame trainer, D. Wayne Lucas. And I went, oh, this has got to be pretty good. So I bought into that. And then the coolest thing, the updates that they gave about, the first time the horse had ever had any kind of touch to him. And then first time of, any kind of saddle was put on him, and just the whole thing. They'd send us videos and stuff. So,
oh wow, I didn't realize they were that. They keep you that informed.
In this one, they have some of the other ones they haven't, but yeah, all throughout. And then a couple of years ago, what was it? Last year, February, I went down to Ocala to actually meet him in a meet and greet for, I don't know, about 8 racehorses that they owned. And so, yeah.
And you did this through myracehorse.com, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which I think we had them on years ago. Should talk about that. So what's involved in that? First of all, do you ever get a payout? Do you ever make any money if your horse does well?
Yes. It's not the multi-million dollars that you think of, because it's a micro share. But like for the payout for Saturday, for my one share was, I think, $46.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then one of the races he won, earlier in the spring, was about 25. So,
So now so how many owners are there on a horse like Cecil Gray?
It's hard to really peg it. I think it's around 1,600.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot.
Yeah. This is like, it has to go through the Securities and Exchange Commission. It is highly regulated. And so you get a prospectus and everything. But, there's, what the percentage is. And I think, it's 0.005 or 0.05. Anyway, it's a pretty small percentage.
It doesn't stop it from being exciting, though, does it?
Oh, no, because I own part of that racehorse.
How many do you own parts of?
Right now, it's just 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you, obviously, you're gambling because you're getting them when they're young. Some of them probably don't even end up racing for whatever reason. They get hurt. Or...
No. Yeah, they just turn out to be, no, I'm not interested in this, So but,
you're doing this, you plan on losing your money.
Oh, yeah. You don't do it to make any money. It's just way more fun to watch a horse that you have a part of, progress through the ranks.
So if you're going to advise somebody, if one of our listeners is interested in owning partial ownership of racehorse, first of all, I assume the dollar amount varies depending on what the deal is, right?
It does. I bought them for as little as $75, $80 and as much as $150.
Oh, but that's still not much.
Sure. It's still not much, no.
God, I want to do that. Hey, Jennifer, we're going to get a racehorse. Just go to myracehorse.com and pick one out. We're going to get a racehorse.
Yeah, there's some deals. Yes.
Hey, Clark, if the horse, when it comes to the end of the racing career, do you sell the horse or do you keep on, do you get the stud rights or part of the foal if it's a broodmare?
No, it at that point, it's sold and the ownership group is terminated. You get a payout from that.
Oh, okay. So whatever they sell the rights for, then the payout comes out to everybody.
Yeah.
So you could see more than your $150 at that point.
Could. Haven't had a chance to do that, but
haven't seen that yet.
This one might, I was trying to remember how much I paid for this share, and I think it was $125 range. And so, if he does well this year, and if they race him into his 4th year, I might have to report it on my taxes.
Yeah, you've already gotten part of it back.
Yeah,
which is more than most of us ever do with our horses.
$46.
Yeah. Again, that's more than most of us ever.
Exactly.
Well, so this has just been exciting. So if somebody was to be interested in this, how do you pick which one you want to do? Or do you just wait for the offerings and go, okay, that sounds good?
Well, you wait for the offerings and you kind of look at, the lineage and try to figure out, is this worth doing? Or sometimes they're just, you just go, okay, this one looks cute. And you just go, So.
Well, very cool. So you have a horse too, right?
I do.
So tell us about your horse and what you're up to with your horse.
I've got a registered Tennessee Walker. And so she's a fast-gaited little horse.
And you do mostly trail, right?
Yes, yeah. And I ended up purchasing a piece of property whose my back gate is a 24,000 acre state forest, so I don't have to trailer anymore.
That's probably partly why you bought that place, wasn't it?
Is exactly why I bought that place.
Yeah. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. We're going to have the same thing when we move. The forest is going to be right there.
Yeah.
So that is nice. For Jennifer, that's going to be heaven, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's cool. First horse I ever rode was a Tennessee Walker.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought they were all that smooth.
Oh. Yeah, they are not.
So, I found that out when I rode the first, I think it was a quarter horse after that. It was, and they trotted, and I was like, no, this is not what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I think Jennifer now, if she gets another one, I think she's looking at something gated. When you take a look at the trail riders around here, and in Florida, gated horses are it.
Yeah.
And because they do go out for 4 or 5 hours at a time.
Yeah. And you can just sit there and let the horse do the work, and you're rested. They're pretty rested,
Well, cool.
So, yeah.
Very good. Well, congratulations again, Clark. We appreciate you joining us. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All righty. Thank you so much.
You know what's coming up this weekend on Sunday?
What?
Mother's Day.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, it's Mother's Day this weekend. Happy Mom's Day to my mother-in-law, Pat. Happy Mother's Day to you. And, you can go shopping for that horsey mother in your life. Going to State Line Tack right now, they're having a Mother's Day sale, and they have their Mother's Day gift guide. So if you head over there right now, you're going to see all the different gifts that you can get for Mother's Day. And I mean, they have how many pages? 14 pages of stuff, and it's a lot of gifty stuff, a lot of jewelry, engraved halters, engraved leather bracelets, engraved equestrian photo frames, just all different kind of chaps.
Yeah.
They have some of the funkiest looking chaps I've ever seen.
Yep, socks, ball caps. Oh, there's cool ball caps. Yeah.
Actually, some of this nice jewelry. Kelly Hurd, of course, it's Kelly Hurd jewelry. But, they have it all, and it's on sale. Some of it 30%, some of it 10%, some of it 20%. But you can find 14 pages of ideas, and if you hurry, well, you can always just say it's on the way and it got held up because the FedEx warehouse got wiped out in Michigan. just blame that. But, if you hurry right now over to statelinetack.com, you can get that gift for your mommy. But do it now, statelinetack.com.
This Horse Health Report is brought to you by Daily Dose Equine, non-GMO core nutrition for horses and ponies of all ages. Well, we're so excited to welcome Dr. Michelle DeBoer from the University of Wisconsin on a recent hay net study. I know a lot of us use hay nets, some of us don't. Tell us a little bit about the study.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And the study that we did, basically, I have horses, they're on hay nets, and it's been a long-standing question, I think, with so many horse owners. So we kind of set out to see, we know that hay nets have a lot of positive impacts that have been seen, at least in some research, as well as just anecdotally. And so we're like, hey, let's put some science here and see, does this have any health impacts on the horse in terms of their dental wear, their body condition score, body weight. So what we did is we got a group of horses that we use at our riding program at the University of Wisconsin River Falls, and we split them up into two groups. So half were on hay nets, half were not on hay nets, and they stayed on those treatments for a year. At the beginning and end of the year, they had a equine dentist see them, and they did dental work, and they just kind of noted incisor length and dental abnormalities and all of those things. And then every month during that year, we also took pictures of their mouth so we can monitor. We call it a rostral oral cavity score. So we were looking at soft tissue damage, how the health of the gums, any abrasions we might see, any chips on the teeth. And so we did that. That took place over that first year. And then what we did is we switched horses onto the opposite treatment. So it was a crossover design. And that way each horse could be used as its own control. So when we set it up, we talked to a lot of dentists, and they're like, every horse has such a different mouth. We don't think you can just do a one and done. You have to kind of test each horse on each different treatment. So we repeated that study over the second year, and then we did the exact same things and then got our results.
And the results were?
Our results were, we ultimately found that the hay nets did not have any impact on their dental health at all. We did find that it did impact body weight and body condition score. And so horses
good
who were
way?
on
For
the hay nets,
for better or for worse.
so horses who were on hay nets were weighed less and had a lower body condition score by the end of the year than horses who had just free choice. And all those horses had free choice access to round bales. So we weren't like feeding them by percent of body weight or any of that. It was, you can kind of a smorgasbord, right? You can eat whatever's there. And the hay nets did help kind of keep those horses in a healthier body weight.
Okay. My pony, Scooter, who's a little hackney pony who might have a weight problem, really hates you right now because he has to use the hay net with the little holes. And he was hoping that this study would be the exact opposite. But now I have to tell him that, sorry, Scooter, you have to stick with the little holes.
Yes, exactly.
And so that brings up my next question too is so did you try different kinds of hay nets? Because there's dozens out there with different holes and different fibers and, fabrics and all that kind of thing.
That's a great question. And that's something that we do really want to investigate. It wasn't kind of the scope of this study. The study, for full transparency, was funded by Hay Chicks. So they, paid for the dentals, they paid for some of the work, but they let us do all the research. It was just funded by them. And so we tested their hay nets for this study, but they are very supportive of research, which we are so grateful of because as people in the research industry know, it's really difficult to get funding for equine research at the moment. And so they are looking at maybe some future studies where we could compare different brands and styles of hay nets because there are so many. I didn't even know like knotted versus unknotted. Like that's like a big deal, like those type of things. So we are hoping to hopefully in the future look at some other styles as well. And it was an expensive study. So we're like, we probably can't do it over that long term, but even just, a short-term study where we could kind of compare if we find any differences there.
Yeah. They even have the hay nets for the big round bales now. So
yes, that's what we were using.
Kind of interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's fascinating, and I think it's interesting too that you watch a horse eat naturally from the ground, and then you watch a horse eat from a hay net, and their head is not in a position that they would eat out in the wild. So I think it's very interesting that you did not see any difference in dental, issues.
Yeah, and so that's, I think, so we haven't published yet, so I can't go over results of it, but we are also currently looking at, so as part of the study, we were also looking at things associated with like the back and the musculoskeletal kind of parts of the horse. And so that's kind of part 2 that we're hoping to get published for this study. But I think the thing that I really appreciate about this research compared to some other research already out there is I think the height of hanging those hay nets is very important. And I think that can have some impacts. And for us, because we were using round bales from, a hay feeder, both horses were eating hay at the exact same posture and position. Whereas, if you're feeding small squares, a lot of times, to not feed a hay net, it's on the ground, but to feed from a hay net, you're elevating that hay net. So I think that's another variable that is a factor that needs to be also further evaluated.
Yeah, that's interesting because I always wondered if, especially hay nets in stalls, let's just take that for instance, people I think tend to want to hang them too high.
Yes. And I think it's such it's a dilemma in terms of like, you don't want their foot to get caught in it,
exactly.
Right? So you need to hang it up higher, but it's like, are there, some companies are looking at future products of how can we give them hay, but allow it to be on the ground. Like I've seen people make their own where they get kind of like a water tub and then they put a hay net over the top of it. Like, okay, now hopefully our horse won't get caught on it, but they can still eat at a more natural feeding position.
Right. But they could still put their foot in it, and get hung up there. They could do anything.
And it seems like they always find a way, right? You can put them in a bubble and they will find a way to get hurt.
Yes. But then you weigh the risk of that with, the measured eating of the hay and with horses like Scooter, not eating too much hay and also keeping the hay cleaner.
Yes, exactly. You're changing waste, which is another thing we looked at, is you're not wasting as much. You can keep the hay cleaner, making sure, our horses aren't,
they poop in it less.
Sandy area
So
they poop less.
They poop in it less,
Yes.
Especially the round bales that you don't put the hay net on. That's their favorite place to lay down and poop. Is right in there.
Yeah.
And we have a horse who consistently, if you put out piles of hay, like if you throw out flakes of hay out in the paddock or something, he goes and pees right in the pile of hay.
He doesn't want to get splashed.
No, he doesn't want to get splashed. He's very fastidious, but
Yeah, and I have a great picture from the study that I think was so representative of just the hay net one. You just see some little strands of hay on the ground by the horses, and then the one without the hay net, it was just like the whole perimeter of the hay ring that it was in was just hay pouring out. And because we did monitor waste throughout the study, and it was a significant cost savings as well. So it's like, okay, it should impact the health of your horse, but it can save you some money, and it can save you, the labor of even cleaning all that up.
Oh, yeah. So 2 questions. One is, how many horses were involved in the study?
We had 13 horses, so we put 6 on one, 7 on the other, and we had the seventh one on the other one of just like, okay, in case something happens where a horse needs to be pulled from the study, we wanted to hedge our bets.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's good. That's great. And then
they were all used the whole time, but we're like, let's just throw in an extra one if we can afford it.
And then did your students at River Falls also help with this?
They did. It was great. It was because being a long study, I was able to involve so many students in it. So I had 2 students throughout the time that they'd go out and be taking pictures of the mouth every single month, and they'd work on that. And they'd take the body weight and kind of look through that. And then when we had the dentist out, I also did it with my equine production class. So I have about 25, 30 students in that every fall. And so they'd go out and they'd observe the dentist, and they'd help with recording. The dentist would tell them what to write down and all of that. So by the end of it, I probably had over 100 students had been impacted by that study at their time there. So it was really cool to get them all involved and kind of see what research entails.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's great. I know River Falls has a really good reputation, and it's great that they can, be involved in something like that, because they'll, that's really helpful for them.
Yeah, and we have so many that go into vet school, and so I think just having that and having that knowledge of the research and the health aspect is really good for them, and they seem to really value it as well.
So, Doctor, I was stalking you, and it looks like you're a rider too.
I am. I love to ride.
What do you ride?
So I have Arabians, and so I'm the crazy Arabian professor at the university. But my first horse I did everything with. So we do, the games and the cattle work and polo cross and all those. There's I think only one discipline probably she hasn't ever tried. And then now I have 2. One is my endurance horse, and one I do dressage with.
Oh, wow. So where do you do endurance, and how long do you go?
Yeah, so last year I did my first 50-mile ride. So that was really exciting, considering this horse was kind of a bit of a project horse that was kind of thrown away, and she just really seems to excel at endurance. So the Midwest actually has a really strong endurance community, which is super fun. So they have rides, like every other weekend that you have access to. So some are just like 2 hours away, and some I go further into Wisconsin that it might be, like 6 hours away. But yeah, we do anything from 25 to 50-mile rides right now. And my goal is to eventually move up to 100. So we'll see how long it takes to get there.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Well, so you teach, you have kids, and you ride. Are the kids interested in horses, or are they like, sick of these horses?
Oh, we just got them their first pony for Christmas.
There you
go. And so it might be more of my pipe dream than theirs. My son he likes construction. That's his thing. So he'll come out and he'll pet the pony. He leads her around. But my daughter shows more of an interest. So I'm holding out hope. She's only 3. So I was like, I probably could have held off on a pony for a bit. But now that the weather's nicer, since we got her over winter, that it's nice. They do enjoy kind of getting out and riding her a bit. So yeah, hopefully the horse gene is passed on to one of them.
If he's interested in construction, he can do all the repair projects and build the barn and fix the fence and do all of that.
Exactly. He loves the skid steer is like what he's obsessed with. So I'm just kind of like, great, when you are the right age, you can be mucking out you can turn our compost and muck out the paddock.
Yep.
You can do all of that. So it could be just a match made in heaven there. We can,
Absolutely.
I can enjoy my horses and he can enjoy everything else.
So I do a horse husband episode once a month here. I need to get your husband on, and we need to find out if he has the same feeling about all of this that you do.
I think I probably know the answer to it. He tolerates it, but I'm sure he would love to share his opinion. On the hobby farm. He grew up with maybe a goldfish, and now we have chickens and horses, and I don't think he realized what he bargained for.
Yeah. Are you a vet doctor or?
No, I have I'm a master's and PhD, so mostly in like equine nutrition and kind of management.
But he's still married into that too. I mean, you're like as immersed as they get.
Yes.
Oh, yes. He met me like a month before I started grad school. So I'm like, you knew the whole time, like you knew what you were getting into. So poor guy, he's out helping me with research all the time. He'll come out. We did a blanketing study this winter and he was out with me at like midnight, like checking blankets and all that. So he's a very good sport about it. But yeah, I think some days he's like, what? These horse girls.
Well, the next, when you publish the next paper, will you get back to us? We'd love to have, you're terrific. We'd love to have you back on.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I would love to. We're hoping I have the final draft done. So I'm hoping it'll be submitted and accepted by the end of the summer. So I'll definitely reach out. I love chatting with you guys.
And that blanketing study sounds fabulous.
Oh, yes, we did that. Unfortunately, our winter was so mild that we got a month of data, but we could really only blanket for January. And I was like, no, the 1 year, I hate the cold. I hate the winter. And we just got, but I was like, okay, it's enough for a pilot study. So hopefully we can run a bigger one in the next winter.
Yeah, just come here to Tennessee. Our winter was colder than yours. So
I'm sure it was. Yeah, I think this next year will make up for it. So I'm like, okay, I need to be ready to hit the ground running.
Well, very good. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciated talking with you.
Non-GMO whole food nutrition is the basis of the entire Daily Dose Equine program. We never forget that natural is better and simplicity is key. Daily Dose Equine uses non-GMO whole food ingredients like alfalfa, timothy, peas, sunflower seeds, and flax. Daily Dose Equine doesn't use fillers, bulking agents, or leftovers from other industries. So you can feed less, yet improve body condition and energy. And our feeds are free from chemical residues and glyphosate. Find the perfect formulation for your horse at dailydoseequine.com. Select Daily Dose Equine formulations are available nationwide through chewy.com and tractorsupply.com.
Easy, effective, and eco-friendly fly control starts with fly predators. Fly predators are the organic, natural way to dramatically minimize your fly problem. Learn more about fly predators and other Spalding Labs fly control solutions at Spalding, spalding-labs.com.
Well, that was fun. She's terrific.
She absolutely was.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. We're going to have her back.
I hope so.
She mentioned track system, too. I don't know if you heard that before we started recording with her. We were chatting with her. And, that's something that I know that several of our listeners are experimenting with now. It's something that I think we should revisit here soon, too, with somebody that, instead of somebody that, is out there professing to sell you the system, I want to have somebody that's actually using it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. See how it goes.
So if any of you that are listening are actually using a track system and would like to come on and talk about it, that'd be great. So there was big controversy in Wellington last week.
Heard.
Yeah. Did you hear about this?
I heard about this, yes.
Yeah. It was the biggest controversy of the year down there.
Uh-huh.
Not about expanding and, building new houses and any of that. Nope. That wasn't nothing compared to this. So there's a place called the... This is part of the problem, I think, here.
It's the blow and go bar.
Yes.
Glenn, you can't say it, but go for it.
The blow and go bar, which I thought was a bar until I read further and realized that it was a hair place.
Yes. And not for horses.
And not for horses, correct. But apparently a lot of the horse people were coming in this year.
Yes.
And the owner determined that this was beneath him, that he really got pissed at these horse people. He spends all this time in their hair. He calls himself an artist. He's a hair artist.
Hair artist.
And he this is what he said. When it comes down to it, I'm a hairstylist, but I'm also an artist and a man. It is folly to continuously waste my time on horsewomen who leave my salon and not 20 minutes later are slapping a dirty, sweaty helmet over my blood, sweat, and tears. Now, I hope he's confident that there's enough non-horsewomen that are coming to him that he can actually make a living.
Yes, and he does go on to say that the winter is his biggest season.
Yeah.
You know, when all the horse people are there at Wellington. So
on the other hand, he's got a point. He does have a point.
He has a point, yes. But you know, if I'm going to a salon and I'm paying for a blowout or whatever, then it's mine to do with what I want.
What exactly is a blowout?
You know, you just got your hair just kind of gets blown with hairspray and a blow dryer, and it gets all poofy. You know.
Oh, yeah, I don't have enough to be poofy. So,
yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know. So, but if I walk out of the salon and I want to slap my dirty, sweaty helmet on it, then I paid for that privilege, you know. so.
Although it is his place, he has a right to say, "I don't want stinky equestrians in here." So what he didn't say, you know, he said he doesn't want them going out after, but you know, it could have been the problem that they smelled when they came in.
Yes,
yeah.
How is he going to know it's a horse person? I mean,
that's the other thing.
The way they're dressed.
Well,
so,
let's face it. If you've lived in Ocala or Wellington, you know that these horsewomen don't get out of their clothes to go to the store. You see them everywhere in their riding pants.
Yes.
I mean, they're everywhere in their riding pants. And their boots a lot of times, which I don't understand because Jennifer always wanted to get her boots off immediately.
Well, I guess it depends on the kind of boots that you wear.
Tall boots. You see them with their tall boots in the stores.
Yeah, I mean, if you wear the $5,000 boots,
I guess
they might be comfortable. You know. But here's the thing. So let's say Jennifer and I go to the salon, and he identifies us as horsewomen. What's he going to do?
Is he going to kick you out?
Yeah, I mean, is he going to call the police?
Does he
if we
realize
don't
that
leave?
horsewomen are stronger than he is? And have opinions.
Can there be a lawsuit now because he's refusing to serve?
Well, you know, they had that lawsuit that was dealing with gay marriages, and it was cake places, right?
And the cake, yes.
And they won that lawsuit that they were allowed to discriminate.
That's true.
Because it's a private business.
State that was in.
I don't know what state it was in either, but they did win that one just because it was a private business. Now, do we think it's right? No, probably not. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know legally. But
yeah,
of all places for this to happen, Wellington's perfect.
See, this makes me want to go. I would fly to Wellington just to go there.
How much do you think? And he probably charges a fortune for his art.
Oh, it's hundreds of dollars probably because it's art.
Oh, here's the. Oh, no, that's not the. I'm trying to look him up. Oh,
yeah,
there's a lot of blow and goes. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You want me to read the description?
Please do.
South Florida's premier blow dry bar, specializing in the best blowouts and makeup applications. Does that mean he doesn't cut the hair?
Right. He doesn't cut the hair. He's just styling it.
Well, okay. Well, then he's got a point. Why would anybody get it styled and then go put their helmet on?
You know, I
mean, I can understand if you're getting your hair cut, but he doesn't even do haircuts?
Okay. I have a friend. And I won't say what friend this is or where she is, but so she often will hire somebody to come blow her hair out at her house. And so you know, they spend the time and she blows it and styles it, and then she pays the lady a fortune and she leaves. And then an hour later, she brushes it all out and puts her hair in a ponytail.
Why? I guess I just don't get it. Okay,
well, I don't get that, but you know,
if he was doing cuts, that's one thing. But
no. This is
somebody gets paid to just blow dry hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a big thing in New York. They're on every block.
Really?
Oh yeah.
God,
yeah.
I am so shocked.
Glenn, where have you been?
I don't know. Apparently not in this world. So he says our expert blowout starts at just $33, including shampoo, no matter your hair length.
Oh wow, that's more affordable than I thought.
All right, well, I think he's got more of a point now that I'm almost on his side.
Oh, but here's the thing. So he's probably not doing the blowouts.
Joking, by the way. I'm joking.
Oh no, but no. I mean, there's two sides to this.
I can understand if you're going to a wedding or a party or something like that. You're going out for the night,
right? Yeah, you're going to spend $50 and, look fabulous. But here's the other thing. He's probably having some of his, I don't know, his underlings doing the blowouts. He's probably not even doing them himself.
Okay, so here's the extra add-ons. One extra add-ons is a shot of Japanese heaven.
What's that?
I have no idea, and I don't think I want to know. You can get extensions for $75. He'll braid it for $10. Well, you know what? That's less than they charge to braid your horse, so...
A lot less.
Yeah. Although a fishtail braid or a Dutch braid is $30. So that's more in line.
This has to be a place where you just come in, you're in and out in 15 minutes.
He says 20 minutes, yep.
Oh, wow, yeah. So this is a...
But if you're going to a wedding, he has a pre-consultation for $100. And then he charges everybody $100 each for their blowouts at their wedding. Okay, it's still called blow and go.
But
how did that ever get through? It's Florida. Anything gets through.
It's Florida. It's Florida. But
okay, before I get myself in trouble, if you have any complaints about today's show, write to Jennifer at horseradionetwork.com. She just said, hey, she's sick of getting the complaints. So, see, she thought that she would, what would happen is when we sold the company, that she wouldn't have to get the complaints anymore, but that's not true.
Oh, but she's so good at ignoring them.
All right. Well, that's it for today's show. Thank you for joining us. I think that's about all my voice has left in me today. Thank you, Lisa, for filling in. Where can people find out about you and find your show?
Oh, just lisawysocki.com and celebswithhorses.com.
And you're up for an award next week.
The William Shatner episode of Celebs with Horses is up for podcast of the year. So
let's hope you get it.
Let's hope. And that would be a combined win because, Glenn, you're doing such an awesome job on the production and editing side. So, it's heavily edited, as everybody knows. So it's yeah.
Well, what I'm disappointed is that means I have to pay attention at the awards ceremony now.
Yeah.
Well, at least for one category, we can screw around.
We can't start drinking until afterwards.
The boss over there, the person who's run this organization, Chris, for 30 years, is terrific, and she's the one that's given us the hairy eyeball on our table a few times.
Yes, we have, and this is her last year. She's retiring, and we're all so sad. And
she said that the new people are going to be there, so she'll have less to do. I said, well, then you can join us at the fun table in the back. She said, I might. And so this year she can get in trouble with us.
I hope so.
Instead of being the one that's threatening to kick us out.
Yeah.
It figures the podcasters are the loud, rowdy bunch in the back.
Exactly.
Especially when Jamie was there. It was even worse.
It was, yeah. Yeah. We had a fun time at the bar after that,
yeah,
too,
we did.
So.
I think we all left early, too. So
yeah.
It's like, okay, well, we watched half it. There's so many awards.
There are.
Oh, my God. There's awards for everything.
Yes.
And awards after award after award. It's like, how many magazines are there in this world?
1,000 horse magazines, but now there's book awards and there's podcasting awards, there's photography awards, and there's design awards, and but I like seeing, because I think everybody's done such a great job. I like seeing what everybody has done.
Well.
So. Yeah.
That's it for today.
I know you not so much, but me.
Yeah. I like visiting with everybody. It's like any podcast conference I go to. I go for the people.
Yeah.
Now you're speaking and I'm speaking, so I'm doing.
Yes. And we're not speaking at the same time, which is so awesome.
Oh, are we?
We're not.
We're not. Okay.
No.
Good.
No. So I get to actually go to yours, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we've always had that problem in the past.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, you're always speaking at the same time I am.
I've never seen you speak, actually, because
we're
always at the same time, so I get to come to yours.
Actually,
what are you talking about?
I'm not speaking. I'm moderating the AI panel.
Oh, I'm going to that one for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm speaking on the 10 keys to longevity in podcasting, which I think I probably know a little about.
You probably do, and I'm going to that one.
Yeah.
So you're right after.
You're going to be
right
bored.
After me.
You know all these things. You've been around in this for a long time too.
Glenn, you are never boring. I will say that. That one thing I can say about you, you are not boring.
So I am lucky when I get the slides done that morning, but this time I'm doing the same talk I did at last Podfest.
Oh, cool.
Because they asked me what I want to speak about, and I proposed this, and they said, well, that's perfect. Especially since there's so many people getting into podcasts in the horse world right now, but they're not lasting. they're getting out within a year. So
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over all the things that are key, but all I have to do is look at the slides I already made, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, there you go.
But you know me, I don't have a script because I can't follow it.
No, but you're so good at reading the audience too.
Yeah,
And being able to pivot.
Were you there the year we did improv?
Yes.
The place was packed, and I really didn't think we were going to get anybody because a lot of authors and writers and freelance writers and editors are introverts.
Yeah.
And they're not,
absolutely.
But they all came, I think, partly because they were introverts.
Yeah.
And we had a great session. I had one of the cast from my old cast years ago. Carrie came up. She lives down there, and she helped me do it. And we had a blast. It was fun.
Well, you did. And you roped me into one of your little demonstrations there. And
well, you knew that was going to happen.
Well, I was hoping. I was shrinking down in my seat. But
I always pick a couple of shows when we do the improv class because when we do some of those things, I know I need one person that's at least going to be good.
Yeah, well, it was fun. It really was fun, and it was
We'll do
great.
that again. Maybe I'll propose that again for next year. It's been a little while since we've done it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm sorry we're boring you here at the end. But can I ask, before we go, one more thing? I haven't talked to Lisa in a long time. So I'm allowed to ask about TV?
Yeah, so we're still progressing. It's like inching along. It is inching along.
And this is making your Cat and Write books into a TV series.
Yes.
Think Heartland for murder.
Yes, we are. Yes, Heartland versus Murder, She Wrote. But yes, we are inching along, and they haven't been able to contact Brad Pitt yet about playing you. But we'll get there.
If that's the holdup, I would settle for Tom Selleck.
Oh, well, I will let them know that. So we're inching, and I'm actually going out to LA the first weekend in June. Bill Shatner is having his charity horse show event, and I'm going to that. And
that is so cool that you get to go to that.
Yeah, I know, it's going to be so much fun. And
did you pick out a ball gown?
It seems like everybody's wearing like boots and jeans to these things. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
It's
easy.
pretty casual. So, which suits me just absolutely. So, so we've got some meetings while I'm out there, and hopefully I'll have more news after that.
All right, very good. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate it. Tomorrow we're going to have for you the NRHA episode, so the Rainers will be here tomorrow, and then we're going to have a best of for you on Friday. Jamie's still out, and I'm taking the day off, but we'll be back next week with some brand new episodes. Jamie will be back, so thanks for joining us. Thanks a bunch, Lisa.